Rose, we're 4 months into 2020. Are you really about to talk about the games that you bought in 2019? You bet your sweet keister I am. 2019 was the year that I went absolutely crazy with buying video games. I was just watching a lot of Metal Jesus and his entire crew, and I went down the rabbit hole of collecting. I also had a bunch of those sweet, sweet Office Depot dollars saved up that I never really spent on anything other than books, I guess, because I'm not like those other girls. I read. So I feel weird doing this video because I was very, very lucky to be able to procure multiple consoles. I basically tripled my DS and 3DS collection, and I'm a very lucky person. So I'm not doing any of this to brag, it's just I love watching pickups videos and gaming hauls, so hope you like this one. Now it's important to note something very special that I got for Christmas in 2018. Rose, this is a video about 2019 and you're doing it in 2020 and now you're talking about 2018. What is wrong with you? Anyway, for Christmas I got the Pikachu 2DS XL. I love this little guy so much. He's my pride and joy, my baby boy, and he's just perfect. I had the Aqua, I believe, original 3DS for like 5 years, and I was just getting really sick of holding it and looking at it. It's such a small screen, and I really wanted something new. So my mother was kind enough to get this for me for Christmas, and I have loved it dearly ever since. So now we actually begin 2019, and in January I got my first Pokemon game, which was Pokemon Soul Silver. And as I mentioned in my collection video, this is a counterfeit. Obviously I did not mean to pick up a counterfeit, but I knew nothing about red flags on eBay, and yep, I've gotten to Goldenrod City, which isn't very far, especially since this is basically, what, like the length of 2 Pokemon games. But the point is, it still saves fine, loads fine, plays alright. There are a couple of things. I think there's a casino in Goldenrod City and there's some sort of mini game that you can play, and my DS just freezes whenever I try that, so you know, other than that, I can't use a Pokewalker, I can't trade Pokemon with it, but who's trading Pokemon in Soul Silver in 2020? The sad thing is I don't think I'm gonna be a huge Pokemon fanatic because I've heard that you kind of have to get into it when you're younger, and I got into it when I was 19. The next game that I got in January was also a counterfeit, Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars. Yeah, this one does not work. I can't even get through the second mission without the entire game freezing. But I'll buy a real cartridge at some point. And don't worry, these are the only counterfeits thus far. My first 2, but I wised up. Worry not. I mean, I hope they're the only counterfeits. Yokai Watch. This is known for being Pokemon-like, and I kind of prefer it to Pokemon. I like the yokai a lot more than the Pokemon. I think they're a lot more humanistic and cute, and I really like the story that they have in these games. It's really dark, and I think just skews towards a slightly more mature audience, so maybe that's why I, as an adult, played it and enjoyed it fully. And these games are made by Level 5, who also made Professor Layton, so I guess Level 5 just owns my soul now. Moko Moko Friends, which to my knowledge is another Pokemon-like game, but geared towards an even younger audience and clearly more feminine. I've played a few minutes of it and it's absolutely adorable, but I just need to dedicate a lot of time to playing this. I know Zach's gonna get a kick out of this one. Strawberry Shortcake Strawberry Land Games. The only game that I got in February was Hotel Dusk Room 215. It's a puzzle mystery game and it features a hard-boiled gumshoe private detective, which if you didn't know, that is my bread and butter. I love a good detective and I love a good noir type story. And then March was when I went a little crazy. So let's just try and get through this pile, shall we? Starting off with Trauma Center, Under the Knife. I've been having a lot of fun with this one. It's just very difficult and stressful, and I've heard that Atlas games in general can be really hard. Rise of the Guardians for the 3DS. Here's the thing. As you're gonna see throughout this whole thing, I've bought a lot of games within the last year that I played as a child and then got rid of because I was bored of them and then missed playing when I was older, and then rebought them as an adult. That was a very long-winded sentence, but I hope you get it. Oh shit. So in terms of game collecting and clearing out my collection every once in a while, I'm not likely to get rid of too many games just because I'm afraid of wanting to play them years in the future and having to buy them again, so I feel like it's easier to just keep them all. Which isn't the healthiest mindset, but there is some sort of justification to it. Also, this game is based on my favorite movie. That being said, if I were to Marie Kondo my collection, this would be the first game to go. It is borderline unplayable. It makes the frame rate drop like crazy. It makes my DS lag, which I didn't know was possible. So yeah, even if you're a fan of the movie like me, I wouldn't recommend this one. And then we got Shaolin Showdown. It's just an action game with the Shaolin Showdown characters in it, and this is one of my favorite cartoons from growing up, so I thought it'd be fun. Then we have Pilot Wings Resort. I believe the original Pilot Wings was on the SNES, and then this is just their 3DS version of it. I paid $15 for case and cartridge for this, and I think I overpaid, like, just slightly. So really, if you want something super chill and nice to look at, then go for it, but try not to spend too much money. Trace Memory. I think this qualifies as an adventure game, but my god, it just sucked the soul out of me when I was playing it. It's so below average. Okami Den, and now that Okami is available on the Switch, I might have to pick that one up so I can finally play this. And then 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors. There's a comment on my collection video that's like, what are you doing making videos? You should be playing 999, it's so good. And I'm so sorry, I meant to this quarter, and then school absolutely crushed me. But I'll get through it at some point, I promise. New Super Mario Bros. It's the one non-Mario Kart Mario game that I own. I don't know, I'm just not super interested in Mario. I think it's because there's not much of a story, it's more focused on your skill and having fun, and I guess I'm just not into that. And then there's Time Hollow, which is basically a visual novel, except it's not very interesting. And the same can be said for its characters. There is a moment at the beginning of this game where you encounter a character and you ask yourself, do I know who this is, yes or no? If you haven't played it, you answer no, obviously, and if you have played it, then you know who that character is and you can answer yes. And what that does, or so I've heard, I haven't actually tested it, is it skips through every other chapter leading up to the penultimate chapter, which involves that character. And I just love to imagine someone playing this for the first time, not knowing who that character is, but just saying yes anyway and getting to skip through 4 hours of this godforsaken game, and having no idea what was going on with the plot, but it doesn't really matter because what even is the plot of this? I also got Bravely Second End Layer, still need to get Bravely Default, and Super Scribblenauts, and I had regular Scribblenauts as a kid, got rid of it, and then I wanted to play Scribblenauts again as an adult, so I got Super Scribblenauts, and this is definitely the superior way because you get to add adjectives to all of the words that you make. Then I probably finished Ace Attorney and got Justice for All and Trials and Tribulations. In my collection video, I said that I had finished Ace Attorney and I was moving on to Trials and then was going to play Justice after. I don't know how I got that confused, but I don't know, I guess Justice for All seems more like the end of a trilogy title than Trials and Tribulations, but don't worry, I realized after playing the tutorial trial in here that this is in fact the third game, and this is the second, so I'm playing through this one right now. I have had so much fun pretending to be a voice actor while playing this game. So, murder. That's like when a person, like, kills another person, right? And then I got Kingdom Hearts Recoded 358 over 2 days, and in April I closed it out with Dream Drop Distance. I own way too many Kingdom Hearts games, and I've finished none of them. The only other game that I got in April was, of course, James Noir's Hollywood Crimes. I love a mystery, we all know this. Then in May, after watching a lot of Metal Jesus videos and doing a lot of research about certain games, I decided that I wanted a PSP. Rose, that's a dead system and all of its games are ports for actual PlayStation games. Yeah, I know. But look how pretty! Blue is one of my favorite colors and I love the different shades here, the sky blue and the marine blue on the front and back. It's just the most beautiful thing. And the first game that I picked up for it was Gudaman, A Monstrous Adventure. Also in May, I got Phineas and Ferb, which is another game that I played when I was younger, got rid of, and then wanted to play again. And Yokai Watch 2, Psychic Spectres, and I just love these games. For the second Yokai Watch game, they released 2 versions of it like Pokemon does, and it was Bony Spirits and Fleshy Souls, and then this one combines the 2 into one game. June was another month during which I went a little crazy, partly because June is my birthday month, but the first thing I got was a Game Boy Advance SP. Guys, come on. I overpaid for this, but it's fine. I really wanted the original model with the brown buttons because the refurbs usually have black or even worse, red buttons, and I didn't want any part of that. Other than that, I think I would have been fine with a refurbished model, but this one is also backlit. It's an AGS 101, and I absolutely love it. And of course, it stands to reason that the only game that I have for this is Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. Yeah, it's It's a frustrating one. And then in June, I bought pretty much the rest of my PSP collection because these are all pretty cheap. We have Blaze Blue Portable, SSX on Tour, Death Jr., Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep with a sleeve. It was, believe it or not, cheaper to get it with the sleeve rather than without. And then Phantom Brave and Ape Escape on the Loose. And I haven't played any of those because I don't play games, I just collect them. I also got Story of Seasons because you need to start somewhere with Harvest Moon. And then, for my birthday, my parents and I split the cost of a Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu Switch. It's just... guys, it's just guys. And I of course have been loving playing Animal Crossing on this little guy, but you know, that's a 2020 purchase, that's not from 2019. You probably see this little air bubble from the screen protector. I know it is the bane of my existence, but every time I try to fix it, I make it worse, so I'm just gonna leave it as is. As you well know, this comes with a download of Let's Go Pikachu, because that's the game that I opted for. And the only other Switch game that I got for my birthday was Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which was actually from my friend Jet in the Nerd Herd. We in the Nerd Herd Discord server have game nights every Saturday, and we have, you know, Splatoon, Smash, ARMS. And the only game that I really wanted to play out of all of those, and the only game that I have out of all of those, was Mario Kart 8. And I don't think Jet knew that, so that was really lucky that he managed to get that one. So thank you, Jet, for Mario Kart. And then for myself, I got Little Dragons Cafe. I can't say the title without doing it in that accent. And Team Sonic Racing. This game is exactly what it sounds like. You raise a dragon and run a cafe, and what more could you possibly want out of life? And this game I got because you can eventually unlock Shadow the Hedgehog, and Shadow the Hedgehog is the one character in the entire universe that could ever qualify me as a furry. Because of the overwhelming amount of game collecting I'd done in June, I didn't do a whole lot in July, I just got Detective Pikachu. And wow, Tim is the blandest, most boring, average, uninteresting protagonist I've ever seen. Obviously in the movie he's got a lot more personality, but in this, holy shit, I live in America. I grew up with American movies, watching the most milquetoast protagonists of all time, and this is like the worst one yet. There's a moment in this that I find really funny where he and his love interest are on top of this cruise ship watching the fireworks, and she's like, wow, look at them, they're so beautiful. And I was sitting there like, they're not gonna do the thing, are they? Where he looks at her and says, yeah, beautiful, and it's like she's talking about the fireworks, but he's clearly talking about her because he has feelings for her, and then they did it. So that was a hoot. I don't think I actually got these in August, but I have nothing else for August, so I'm just gonna say Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, Link Between Worlds, and Tomodachi Life. I picked these up at a GameStop and I don't remember when. In September, I got Spyro because my girl Haley, aka Mama Nerd, loves Spyro, so I had to pick it up, as well as Apollo Justice and Miles Edgeworth Investigations. Now, see, after this year, I made a rule for myself that for larger franchises like Mario, Zelda, Kirby, I made this rule that I can't buy another game within one franchise until I finish the first one, which is why I own only one Pokemon game, well, other than the one that comes digitally with my Switch. Clearly, I did not make this rule after getting every single Ace Attorney game and Kingdom Hearts game that I could. And then, I don't own a PS Vita, but I like women, okay? The sequel or spiritual successor to this is Nurse Love Addiction, and that's widely regarded as the better of these games, but it's a limited run game, so it's a lot more expensive, and I just decided to go with this one. And then in October, I got my other Vita game that I can't play because I don't own a Vita, but I will someday. It's Code Realized Guardians of Rebirth, and it's an Otome game, I believe. The other game that I got in October, and it is now one of my new favorites, is Last Window Secret of Cape West. This is the sequel to Hotel Dusk Room 215, and it is better in every imaginable way. The plot is more interesting, the characters are more compelling, the animation is more fluid and dynamic, the music is livelier, like everything about it. They just really stepped up their game for this one. The two games that I got in November were Dr. Lautrec and the Forgotten Knights and Rhythm Thief and the Emperor's Treasure. This is literally a puzzle-solving adventure, so I guess it's a puzzle-adventure game. And then this is another one of my favorite games. I absolutely love the main character, Raphael, aka Phantomar. He's basically Neil Caffrey from White Collar. He's an art thief and super stylish and charming and romantic, and I just love him. But yeah, this is kind of a rhythm puzzle game, and it's really fun, but very short and kind of rare these days, so it tends to be more expensive. And then for Christmas, I got Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Link's Awakening, and Yonder the Cloudcatcher Chronicles. I'm like very afraid to start this and have it eat up all of my time, especially since I'm playing Animal Crossing right now, and that's already eating up all of my time. That's all, folks. That's all she wrote. Thank you very much for watching and sticking through this with me. Try and be responsible with your money. Don't worry, I've definitely cut back on my spending habits. I love you. Bye-bye.